Hey guys, it's Gun Deity, and this week we are going to check out a form of reducing recoil, reducing that muzzle flip. For the longest time, porting your firearm was the only way you could actually keep that muzzle down. You had to send it out to a company to cut the slide and cut some ports in the barrel to knock that barrel down using the gases of the round. And it ports the gas straight up and pushes the barrel down. That was pretty much the only way to do it for the longest time. And then pistol compensators came around. And these just attached to the end of your barrel, which made it to where it was much more convenient, so you didn't have to send out your gun for months at a time to get it ported. This was a cheaper option. But is it a more effective option? That's what we're going to find out today. We are going to challenge the Radian Ramjet and Afterburner, probably the #1 compensator on the market, versus the Norsso port here. It is a 4-ported barrel. Let's see if I can get that in the light there for you guys. We got a 4-ported barrel here with the ports on the slide there. So this one is shooting gas straight up to keep that muzzle down, while this one also does the same thing, but all the way at the front end of the barrel. Now, the negatives to a ported barrel compared to a compensated barrel. One of the negatives is the gas is leaving the barrel before the bullet leaves the barrel. So it does affect muzzle velocity just a tad bit, especially like on the Norsso where you have the ports going all the way back here. While a compensator, or all the gas goes out after the bullet has already left the barrel, so you're not losing any muzzle velocity. That is a pro and con to each of these. The other pro to, the pro to a ported gun is the dimensions of the gun does not change whatsoever. So all your holsters still work the same, and the gun itself works just the same. Well, on a compensated gun, you add a little bit of extra mass on the front end there, which makes it to where some holsters won't work with this. You have to have a holster that has an open end on it in order to run a compensator on your gun. Not a huge trade-off, but it is something to point out. But we came here to shoot these guys side by side and see which one's better. So let's go ahead and get some ears on, shoot them side by side, and we will check to see, is a ported barrel better than a comped barrel? Let's go ahead and find out. So both these guns are borrowed from my friend. They are both Glock 45s. Now the Norsso finished one is got a lot of extras on it. I'm going to try to avoid using them so that way it doesn't affect any of the results that we get. So you'll see that it's got a thumb ledge on there right here. I'm going to avoid touching that at all, just to help keep this as fair as possible. Now he does have a Surefire X300 on here and a TLR1 HL on here. So there is a slight weight difference between these two, but it's very slight. Shouldn't really affect the muzzle rise that much. So it should give us a pretty good idea. Let's go ahead and shoot the ported firearm first. This is the Norsso. And we are going to, like I said, I'm going to try to avoid using that thumb ledge up here. I'm going to try to just keep my thumb down here on the light, just to keep it as fair as possible. Okay, so the muzzle rise is almost non-existent in this guy. Look at this. This is insane. Let's go ahead and take it up close. I am thoroughly impressed in that. But how does it compare to a comped gun? Let's go ahead and try it against the Radian Ramjet here. Okay, first initial impression, the Norsso does seem like it's a little softer shooting. Not much, but a little. Let's go ahead and take it up close so you guys can see. Very initial shots, I would say that the Norsso does do a better job of keeping it flat. interesting. I figured that they were going to be extremely comparable, but shooting them back to back, there is a lot less felt recoil in this guy comparative to this guy. But let's go ahead and take it up to a little chart that I made up and see if there is an effective difference in muzzle rise. All right, guys, the wind is blowing really hard, so we're gonna try to do this test as quick as possible to compare the Norsso ported barrel to the afterburner compensated barrel. Starting with the Norsso, like I said, we are going to stay away from that thumb release. Go as low as we can to line up with these lines. Now we're going one-handed. All right, let's go ahead and compare that to the afterburner. Comparing to the afterburner. All right, so I don't know what it looks like on paper. I'm not even sure if I'm blocking most of the view. Probably am. Let's go ahead and... All right, so now we got some shots where I'm not blocking the view. We are going to silhouette them here right now and see if there is a noticeable difference between the comped barrel or the ported barrel. Let's go up top and give my thoughts. All right, guys, so my thoughts on a ported barrel versus a comped barrel. I think both are great options. I think if you are looking for something that's going to be the most reduction in recoil, it feels like the ported barrel is where it's at. These ports do an insane job of keeping that muzzle flat. All right, guys, so real quick caveat. After editing the video and watching the slow-mo videos back to back, I can actually tell that, honestly, the Radian Ramjet either did as good as those ports, or did slightly better than those ports. At the range, it felt like the ports did better, and I think that's just felt recoil. When you actually watch in slow-mo the muzzle rise difference, it does kind of look like the Radian Ramjet might have actually won that. Just a little caveat to put in here, so that way we are being fair all the way across the board. If you are looking for something that doesn't require you to heavily modify your pistol, and you are looking for something that is still extremely reliable and flat shooting, something like the Ramjet would be a good option. These are very highly recommended by most people who shoot on a regular basis. And this is still a really good option. So it really depends on what you're looking for. Are you looking for the most recoil reduction, or are you looking for something that's reliable and functionable and may not have as much recoil reduction? But that's my opinion. These are really cool options. I do love this Ramjet, and honestly, to get your slide ported and your barrel ported is probably pretty darn close to the same price as this Ramjet. So it really depends which one you would rather do. Send your slide and barrel out, or buy the Ramjet. Guys, let me know in the comment section what you guys think. This is just my opinion. I think they're both really cool options. Comment in the comment section, ported or comped. Let me know which one you prefer. Guys, this is my opinions. As always, I'm Gun Didi, and I'll see you heathens for the next one.
I got a God complex. Haters love to hate, but I never feel pressed. Got a lot on my plate, but I never get stressed. I'll take all the pressure like I'm acing this test. And like a damn Freemason, I'll run this nation. They call me a